we just cool. Everything is fine up until the night Big got murdered.
What did you see that day?
That was Gene, Biggie's old bodyguard, looking back on those haunting days before the rap legend's tragic end. But what he revealed, it flipped everything we thought we knew about Biggie's death. There's talk of something way darker hiding in the late rapper's underground world, something even wilder than the official story ever hinted at. We've dug up all the receipts, let's break it down, the Empire's hidden vaults. So check this. What really went down after the notorious B.I.G. got taken out wasn't just some cold case drama or old beef frozen in time. Nah, this runs way deeper, way smarter, and dirtier than anybody expected. When Christopher Wallace, better known to the streets as Biggie Smalls, caught them fatal shots that night in L.A., back in March '97, he didn't just leave behind platinum records and a grieving city, he left behind a whole empire. And empires don't just fade out quietly. They get fought over, flipped, and turned into cold hard cash in ways that'd make even the slickest hustler uneasy. Now fast forward to where we at, 2025. Almost 30 years since Biggie's murder on March 9th, 1997, and the hip-hop world just witnessed something that should have been a massive win, but instead it cracked open a whole lot of secrets. Biggie's mom, Voletta Wallace, who'd spent decades protecting her son's legacy, passed away on February 21st, 2025, at 78 in her Pennsylvania home. But here's...
Primary Wave acquires Biggie's Notorious B.I.G., requires his catalog and other rights. Voletta Wallace, his mother, before she passed away, she made the deal, $200 million deal. You know, I hate to see a legacy like that end the way it ended, but I mean, death, there's no happy ending to death. You know, death should never be a means to a happy ending.
Where it starts to smell funny. Just days before she passed, Voletta reportedly gave her blessing to a huge deal with Primary Wave Music, and this deal was about to flip Biggie's empire inside out. We're talking a $200 million partnership where Primary Wave snagged 50% of Biggie's publishing rights, masters, and even his name, image, and likeness. The moment word hit the block, reactions went crazy. Some fans were hyped about the bag, but others, they were saying straight up, they just sold half of Biggie's soul to the industry suits. Now you might be thinking, that's just how it goes, right? Rappers pass, estates get sold, and the money moves on. True, but that's where the underground tunnels start opening up, because what came next wasn't no peaceful business deal. Nah, it turned into a straight-up war full of accusations, court battles, and backdoor betrayals that exposed just how messy things had gotten inside Biggie's circle. Only 4 months after the deal got signed, on July 2nd, 2025, a bombshell lawsuit hit the New York Supreme Court, filed under seal by Voletta's estate. And the target? None other than Faith Evans, Biggie's ex-wife and the mother of his son, C.J. Wallace. The claims were wild. Faith was accused of serious misconduct in running Notorious B.I.G. LLC, the company that holds all of Biggie's music and image rights. According to the suit, right after Voletta died, Faith allegedly took total control of the company, ignored all the estate rules, and pocketed the Primary Wave money without splitting it right. We're talking about tens of millions gone missing. And that's not all, it gets even grimier. The 45-page complaint painted Faith as straight-up scheming. It says she rerouted cash through secret companies, froze out Voletta's trustees from making any decisions, and even tried to dissolve the whole LLC just to take the power for herself. That's bold, real bold. We're talking about the woman who married Biggie back in '94, raised his son, and worked with him musically, now being accused of cutting her own son out of his inheritance. But the rabbit hole went deeper. Reports claim Faith even brought in her own lawyer to cook up side deals with Primary Wave.
Now, Voletta carried on Biggie's legacy after his tragic death, overseeing his estate and helping pass down his wealth to his family, including his daughter, Tiana Wallace. Now, she did a pretty good job, his mother, of running things too. Biggie's estate was estimated to be worth about $10 million when he died, and it's since been ballooned up to a staggering estimated $160 million.
Without telling anyone else involved. That included endorsement plans and a perfume line branded around Faith herself, featuring Biggie's image on the packaging. Imagine that. a perfume using Biggie's face to sell products, and nobody in his family circle knew about it. This whole situation flipped the legacy of one of hip-hop's biggest names into a chaotic storm of betrayal and greed. Every new detail just made things darker, and the deeper you look, the more twisted it gets. Nah, this wasn't just any woman running her son's business. Voletta Wallace was a straight-up mastermind who knew Biggie's empire had to move with the times. She handled high-stakes deals like a boss, from movie soundtracks to collabs with heavy-hitter brands like Nike and Timberland. She fought hard against anyone trying to use Biggie's image or music without permission. And when streaming changed the whole game in the 2000s, she adapted fast. She made sure Biggie's catalog kept stacking royalties, rising from the low millions to a massive 8-figure bag every year. That kind of transformation doesn't happen by luck. It was pure hustle, vision, and grit. By 2024, the estate had exploded to a whopping $160 million, a 16x jump from where it stood back in '97. That's not just growth, that's domination. And none of it was random, fam. Voletta was hands-on in every move. She brought in trusted players like Wayne Barrow, a longtime Bad Boy Records insider who knew every corner of the game. She teamed up with top lawyers to build airtight structures through Notorious B.I.G. LLC, co-owned with Faith Evans. Together, they made Biggie's name not just legendary, but profitable beyond belief. But behind all that power and paper, something darker was brewing. While Voletta was stacking bricks for Biggie's legacy, some people were just waiting for the moment her grip slipped. The vultures were circling, watching, plotting. And when she finally took her last breath in February 2025 at that Pennsylvania hospice, the game changed overnight. The timing of everything felt way too perfect, too lined up to be random. Think about it. The primary wave deal, Voletta's passing, and Faith Evans' quick takeover. It all fits together too neatly. It smells off, like a move that had been mapped out from the start. Here's the timeline that'll make you raise an eyebrow. Primary Wave had been negotiating with the estate since late 2024, right when Voletta's health was reportedly fading. The deal went official on March 20th, 2025, just a month after she passed, and only 4 months later, that lawsuit hit, accusing Faith of grabbing total control of the LLC. Now tell me that doesn't sound planned. This ain't some random family drama over inheritance. This looks like a chess game, carefully played by people who knew exactly what was coming. It's like they were waiting in the shadows, ready to swoop in the second the OG was gone. And once you start digging into who knew what and when, the whole story starts falling apart. It makes you wonder, how deep did this go? How many people were in on it? It's scary to think about, especially for those who really love Biggie's music and respected what his legacy stood for. Because here's the part that hits hardest. If Faith Evans, Biggie's own wife and the mother of his son, could allegedly be planning moves that had cut out his mother's estate from what she built, then what else might have been happening in those dark corners? What other shady deals were being cooked up behind the scenes while everyone was grieving? And most disturbing of all, who already knew about Voletta's health decline and saw it as an opening to cash in when she was gone? But listen, it don't stop there. The money war was just one layer of this story. The next chapter dives into something even more chilling, because after the battle over his millions came another twist. What happened to Biggie's voice itself, his art, his soul, his essence, reborn in a way that got people seriously uneasy? So brace yourself, because if you thought the money moves were grimy, wait till you hear about the technological resurrection of Biggie Smalls, the ghost in the machine that took things to a whole new level of eerie. Think about that for a second. Gene was a professional bodyguard, trained to protect Diddy and his whole roster, right? So when he came to his boss with a real warning about a death threat, and Diddy just brushed him off, that wasn't just careless, that was cold. His reaction, dismissive, irritated, and then came that chilling ultimatum that would change hip-hop forever. Go if you don't want to go. What kind of response is that? Who ignores a legit threat like that unless they already knew what was coming? Gene's story doesn't just raise eyebrows, it drops jaws. He broke down exactly what happened that night at the Peterson Museum, and the details are straight up eerie. Out of the 23 people who rolled in with Biggie's crew, only 11 left together after the party. The rest, 12 of them, had already peeled off to Steve Stout's crib, leaving Biggie's convoy wide open and vulnerable at the worst possible time. That's not coincidence. That's setup energy. But the most haunting detail? It's about a mysterious man Gene swore he saw just before the shots rang out. He described this figure, dressed sharp in a blue suit and a bow tie, repping the Nation of Islam, who calmly walked up near the cars, locked eyes with Gene, then turned and disappeared into the night. Minutes later, Biggie was gone. Was that man a lookout, a spotter confirming the target? And most importantly, who sent him? If Gene's account is real, that means whoever orchestrated this hit knew everything, where Biggie would be, when he'd leave, and exactly which car he'd be riding in. That's not random. That's surgical precision. This was a professional move, carefully planned and executed like something out of a spy flick. And here's the part that'll make your skin crawl. Just before the shooting, Gene said another guard named Paul ordered him to switch cars. That one move took Gene away from Biggie's vehicle, the very spot he was supposed to be protecting. When Gene pushed back, Paul threatened to fire him from Bad Boy Records. Imagine that. Losing your job for trying to keep your artist alive. That's some cold-blooded business, no matter how you spin it. When you start connecting the dots, the pattern's too clear to ignore. From that fateful night to the decades of shady exploitation that followed, Biggie's story keeps circling the same themes: isolation, manipulation, and betrayal. The same blueprint: divide the loyal ones, silence the truth tellers, and profit from the fallout. Now here we are in 2025 and the saga still ain't over. Diddy's sitting in FCY Otisville waiting on his appeal. Faith Evans is in court fighting Biggie's estate over millions. Meanwhile, clubs all over the world are blasting AI-generated versions of Biggie's voice, his ghost recreated by machines. So we gotta ask ourselves, what are we really celebrating when we say we're honoring Biggie's legacy? Are we paying tribute to the man or just cashing in on his death? Then came the wildest twist yet. In a September 2025 Vanity Fair piece, C.J. Wallace dropped a bombshell. He said the estate funded new ballistic tests on the bullets that killed his father. And guess what the results showed? The ammo Gecko brand rounds traced straight back to an LAPD evidence locker that got breached in 1996. Let that sink in. The same police department already knee-deep in the Rampart scandal, where corrupt officers like David Mack were allegedly moonlighting for Death Row Records and somehow walked away with mysterious $75,000 deposits right after the shooting. That's straight out of a crime thriller, but this ain't fiction, it's real life. So what are we really looking at here? A murder that possibly involved dirty cops, record execs, gang ties, and money motives so tangled, it's taken nearly 30 years to even begin to untangle it? And the folks who might actually hold the answers, Diddy, Faith Evans, the old bad boy insiders, they're all either facing legal heat or fighting over cash like vultures around a carcass. Even the LAPD seems to be playing games. In August 2025, the Cold Case Homicide Unit dropped $2 million for new DNA retesting on evidence kept since '97. Then in October, Chief Jim McDonald gave an update, promising leads but no arrests. Translation: they know way more than they're admitting, but they can't or won't move forward because too many powerful names are tangled in this mess. Why though? Maybe because exposing the truth would drag down people in high places. Maybe because the statute of limitations ran out on everything but murder. Or maybe, like investigator Russell Poole once said, we had the pieces. Politics buried the puzzle. The system was never built to give justice to someone like Biggie. It was built to protect those who run the show. So next time you bump a Biggie track, think about what that legacy really means. It's not just about the music. It's about the fight for truth that's still being silenced. Thank you for watching. If you were hooked by this story, don't dip just yet. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Check out one of the videos on your screen for more deep dives into hip-hop's most shocking hidden stories.